This show is proudly sponsored by Standard Bank.
We are celebrating Mother's Day for the second time, the world faced with a pandemic, one that has changed our livelihoods from the way we knew it, one that has changed us from working to staying at home, from the pillars of the home being stressed, because some lost imisebenzi yabo. Good evening and welcome to our Mother's Day special edition. My name is Mokit and I am sitting with dynamic women, influential women in the kingdom. A huge shout out and a big thank you to Standard Bank Eswatini. They did the Blue Sheroes campaign in March where they were celebrating women. You know March is International Women's Month. So we do have guests from that campaign that won that campaign. A big thank you to Standard Bank for ever trusting us. Well, welcome to the show and let's get informed. Sitting with me today, I have powerful women. So I will introduce our guests tonight. On my far left, we have Mage Sylvia Mtetwa, a dynamic, a phenomenal politician and a businesswoman. And then on my that's my left, yes. On my other left, we have Tabile Maripe, a communications specialist and the founder of a movement that has taken the country by storm, that is Vakasha Eswatini. And on my right, we have an engineer. She does not look like one, but she is. An engineer that's Tenele Habangan. I hope I pronounced that right. And then on my far right, we have Mage Dlamini, Mrs. Nogwanda Dlamini. You do know Mr. Pastor Bake's wife. She's a social worker and she's also a businesswoman and an author. And last but not least, we have the ever so beautiful Tobeka Manyatela, Times Weekend editor. Welcome to the show, ladies. Let's start with you, Tobeka. You're raising a son and you're still as beautiful as you are.
Thank you.
Tell me, how did COVID affect you? How did the whole COVID thing affect you and your son?
It really took a toll on both of us. Because for a child to get used to routine, and at that time he was doing his Form 4 at Spunzani, so he was getting ready for his exams, he was excited, he's a senior now, and then they tell you, go back home. He was frustrated. Very frustrated. And one thing about boys are energetic. They need to do something. So now sports, you cannot now go to your soccer games. You cannot go to any basketball games. You are stuck at home. So what I had to do is find a way to actually show him how privileged he is, because at least with the school that he goes to, which is Sifu, online classes then kind of resumed. So I said, you know what? Focus on that. So mine was to try and get him out of the rut of saying, I'm not seeing my friends, I'm not playing sports. I said, so what I do, obviously, I work for the paper. So I'd come back with the paper and I say, listen, look at this. The kids who actually are not even learning online. So you need to focus on that. So it was a chance for me to teach him to be grateful. So that is how I used that. I just needed to do that, but it was tough on both of us, trust me. Waking up and going to work and him being home, it wasn't easy.
You spoke of he was frustrated. Of course. Dealing with frustrated toddlers, dealing with frustrated teenagers. How do you deal with that? And then deal with yourself also, because you're adjusting to this hard time that has just knocked on the world down.
Wow. Moket, teenagers, toddlers, as you're saying.
Yeah.
They can't sit still. You know that. I don't know how teachers do it, and we thank God for teachers. And I think we're so used to having teachers in school, taking care of our kids in a way. Yes, we take care of our kids, but most of the time they're at school. So now here, they had to be home. I would say luckily, I wasn't at work all the time as well, because we also had to work shifts and all of that. So I had to be home. We had to let the helper go home as well. Now, getting used to being inside the house and not going to see friends was frustrating for them, for us. God being good. My husband is a great supporter when it comes to the kids as well. So we somehow, interchanged and worked to somehow combine our hands there. And yeah, I would say here we are. We came out stronger. We came out stronger. But yeah, toddlers are just that. Yeah, they want, and they always want attention. That's another thing. So they want this, and they see that, okay, this thing, they got it, they're bored. You must come back again because they want something else. So we had to find ways of keeping them busy. And online classes also assisted. So, but they were shorter because for toddlers, you can't have them.
Right. Glued to the screen for 5 hours. Yes.
So we also had to, get in there as well, do like the homeworks and stuff like that. So we were everything. I guess maybe somehow we were being reminded of how things started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it when you say that you were reminded, because you know that our lives are busy.
Yeah.
So when the pandemic passed,
Yeah.
it was back to the basics.
Yeah.
Was it the same for you? Back to speaking with your daughter, back to chilling, or back to, if you ever did that, and doing chores together?
Yeah, it was quite interesting because I think over this past year we've grown closer, but at the same time, I mean, she's only 5, but we fight a lot because she's very independent. She wants to do things her way. So spending that time together for so long, having to be her teacher, when you say, this is how you're going to do the homework, and she says, no, teacher said we do it this way. And you have to and you have to humble yourself and actually be like, okay, let the child lead. And for me, I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned over this time. It's understanding that our children these days, they want to lead. They want to lead their own path. And it's important for us as parents not to step back so much that it's irresponsible, but to let them be themselves and let them find their true selves. So that's the big thing that I've learned.
Yeah. I like where the conversation is going. We're getting deeper into it. Now we are celebrating Mother's Day. You all have mothers or had mothers. Your experience or the last advice from your mother, what do you remember? One lesson from your mother, Ntjintja? Is there only one thing that has made you stand thus far as taught by your mother?
Okay, I think I had a lot of things that my mom taught me. Okay, one of them, it was in business, obviously, to be in business, to be independent, and to put God first in everything that I do. Prayer is the key. You can't do anything without prayer. Actually, my mom will just shout at you when you put your spoon on your mouth. Ungakathandazi. So prayer was key. And obviously, to respect people, my mom used to talk about that. That's something which adds value so much, that you must respect people. It's just a two-way thing. And then probably the last thing that my mom spoke about, it was how important it is the way you dress. People address you the way you are dressed.
No wonder you look smashing every day.
So the dressing part, my mom was very key about that. You dressed shabbily, that's how they're going to perceive you. So to me, that played a big.
I clearly understand what you mean, and I see what you mean, and everybody else that knows Senator Sylvia, you know this. Tell me, is there anything you remember from your mother?
Okay. What I do remember, and I always remember, she was so firm about not having a child before marriage.
Okay.
Yeah, she used to say that a lot. So she was so resolute about it. She would actually say, "You just rather not have a child at all." I think because she had been a single parent herself. And this generational thing, that's the exact time she fell pregnant, I fell pregnant. And she was doing second year Uniswa, I was doing second year Uniswa. And Unfortunately, obviously, I didn't heed to her advice, but but I grew to actually see why. And any moment I get or any opportunity I get to impart that to someone else, male or female, I'm not suggesting that marriage is absolute and is not its fault, but uNkulunkulu wadala ukuthi umfana akhule under one roof nabantu lababili. And you see that even with co-parenting, it is still not the same because I have to figure things out at any given moment, and he has to figure things out at any given moment. So I grew to actually appreciate that and know it, and I know now. Ngingamane ngiyofa ngakadala omnye umfana kunokuthi ngidale outside ngakashadi. It's you know, and also just with spiritual growth, you get to actually appreciate and know that
You're touching a very important subject, being a single parent. Now, we all know that you are a woman before you are a mother. Take us through that journey, Tabi. From then till now, you balancing being a mother, balancing yourself as a woman, with the hopes one day you will get married, so you still have to be available in Yana. Balance that for us.
Okay, my journey has been because of how I grew up. By the time I had a child, I was pregnant. I actually legit used to negotiate with God. Can this child be a boy? Can this child not be a girl? It was a very strenuous pregnancy, but also just from my personal experience of I just knew I couldn't bring a girl into this world. So I would negotiate, like legit, like so much that I only went for the scan, sekala, seguti, and then guti check the sex, I never did it because God, you know.
What I want.
You know, it better be a boy. And so, but God being God, He needed to entrust me. Yeah, because clearly my reasons were wrong. Yeah, but so I needed to overcome that. And so, what's in it? So, a single parenting is a lot. Is a lot. You have to do the world. You have to do the work. And then you have to go back home. And kulomfana, that day is starting. And umfana umele wena. And you can't, can I just not do this right now? You know, you can do it today, but you can't consistently do that. And you know, me personally, I'm an ambivert. And so you certainly just want your space. So no, you have to do this now. Hey, and you know, the excitement. And when it's like, ungabuya nga-9 ukumele. I say having a child is like having a husband. I've never had a husband. But the way they are so, you know, you have to be accountable. Hey. So for me, it's that journey of, but what it also then does is just appreciate Gutsi. I can be the superest mom. I can never be my child's father. Even if I wanted to. Yeah, I can never. There's a space for me, and there's a place for him. And so it's really, and interestingly with my case, when she got to grade 7, we had to swap roles. She had to now move and live with the father. So yes, so we are born. So now I guess it's a conversation now what it means, but yeah, it's a lesson, and you really can't do it without God. Every day you are covering your child, you are not sure, Gutsi, am I enough? Am I parenting holistically enough on my own? That's very true. Yeah. So we trial and error, and you really pray. I liked what Mage Sylvia said, Gutsi. Because if you put him first, honestly, we oh, sorry, I think she was saying this earlier. Yes, she said that earlier, yes, offset.
Behind the scenes.
Yes, the strength to do it because every day you've never been there. And every day you're trying. And so you make the mistakes, you have fallouts, This is a girl. And I totally believe that there are girls and fathers and boys and their mothers. Because you then just become, at certain moments, some sort of personality. So she's coming too, and you have to know when to back off. Because she's not you. You know, so.
I love where the conversation is going. It sounds like yonke le information yeah. Learning from people, from other women's experiences, from other mothers' experiences. Well, viewers, thank you for tuning in. But for now, let's go for a quick break and we'll be right back.
Specialized solutions for your agribusiness. Let us partner with you for your sugarcane production business. We offer short-term financing for your seasonal farming needs. Apply for a loan today and get instant capital to finance production costs. Minimum loan amount 100,000 emalangeni. Immediate access to funds upon approval and a flexible repayment period. Insurance underwritten by SRIC. Terms and conditions apply. Standard Bank. It can be.
We are at the place of happiness where you can be happy. I am speaking about Happy Valley Hotel. Once again, thank you very much for sponsoring us on this program. Well, now it is time for starters with the mothers that I'm sitting with. Baba Mtset, sawubona baba. Speak to us. What are these lovely meals in front of us today?
Ngaqala ngokungemukela nje hotel lethu endaweni yelensha. Lethele starter sethu. Ekuqaleni lapha ngine prawn salsa. Bese salandzelana it's our famous Caesar salad. Yena lapha sibeke Greek salad. Lapha yana ke sibeke it's our salmon and prawn salad. It's another version of our prawn and salsa salad. Bese lapha it's an avocado salad. We'll top it up with our avocado.
Thank you very much. Your presentation is also amazing, Chef. Well, ladies, dig in.
Thank you.
Enjoy your meal.
Thank you.
Being a mother, for instance, being a first-time mother like myself, means that being the main giver of unconditional love. When I say being the main giver is that we know that fathers do love, but as a mother, I have to be the main giver because most of the time children or a child is around me or a baby has to be around me most of the time. So it means giving love to children. Love. You know, being told that I'm loved was one of the most beautiful things I ever experienced from my mother. Being told that I'm loved, being told that I'm beautiful, that is one thing that I think I remember that I carried up until I was, I think, old enough to pass it on to maybe my own children or children in the church as a mother of the church and children at school as a teacher as well. I want my children, first of all, my children that I found in my marriage, in church, or even the children that I work with on a daily basis at school. I want them to remember me with the fact that I'm one person that always encourages education. I encourage education, I encourage independence as a lady. And I always encourage hard work, maybe even on the part of the male part, like the boys as well, yeah.
Welcome back, dear viewer. Welcome back. We're still chilling or sitting and talking, discussing, learning, getting all the pearls of wisdom from these dynamic women that we have on the show today. Now, Mage Ntjintja, I will start with you. What is the voice, Mage, that kept you going into being a mother and today the powerful woman that you are? One thing. This one is open to the floor.
Okay.
What voice kept you going throughout the years, throughout the experiences, throughout everything, to be where you are today, not to break down?
Yeah, that's a very mouthful. But I think what kept me going was believing in myself, knowing very well that I can do the best. You know, that pushed me, because I have to be, whatever I do, I must be successful in every angle, not necessarily being a mother only, but in different angles. Lokuthi nje ngibe confident and believe in myself, know what I can do it, and tell myself, even when I feel like some days I'm failing, but still reminding myself that no, you will make it. You're doing well. Noma ubonela ukuthi akuhambi kahle. Because sometimes life, it's not like uhambe ngale ndlela ukucabanga ngayo. Sometimes along the way, there are some challenges, but you have to face them as a woman. As you know, we women, we're more like administrators in our homes. So yonke into ibuke thine njengaboma ke. Nawu make un-administrator. Kumele wathi ukuthi kudliwani? Kumele wathi ukuthi bani ulandwa ngibani malume esikoleni ngasiphi isikhathi? Mina ngisho ngathi na 5. You can imagine the chaos. So that kept me going. I think the confidence and knowing who I am and believing in myself and always telling myself, I'll make it, even in tough times. That's my feeling.
No, I like that. I like that.
You like that you're a woman in media. Print media is hectic.
You know this.
I know this for sure. I know this for sure. Print media is hectic. So how did you find your voice and your balance in that and motherhood? Because you are at home late, you are at work early.
Yes. Fine, yeah, I'm in there at 8, I'm out at 11, and I'm in there the next day at 8, I'm out there at 12, because the weekend paper must come out.
Yes.
How did I find my voice? I would have to give that to my father, my late father. So my father passed away when I was 15. Okay. For me, I can personally say I had the most amazing father. He is one person who did not have, because Ekaya sing three pelanje. It's my older brother, it's myself, it's my sister. He didn't have that umfana lo manfombatane lo. We were equal in his eyes. Gave us equal opportunities. Made it a point that he teaches us. Good say, Lalela says, wherever it is that you head in life, give it your all. So to answer your question, getting into print media, of course, it's a male-dominated field.
Yeah.
And immediately I became the weekend editor for the biggest paper, which is Times. Yes. It was a matter of pretty face, no brain, what's going to happen. You get that. Yeah. And then my dad reminded me, do not at any point in time tell yourself that, you know what, I have to cower now, just so that people can be happy. Don't dim your light, ever. So now orange ungene. Do that. Then get the job done. Exactly. You want to do it in heels? Yeah. Do it in heels. There's no need for you to then bring yourself down. Exactly. You know, you're in a leadership role, lead. You know, so that for me, that's the voice that kept me going. And then imparting it to my son was also to teach him how you treat a woman. When my son is taller than me now, he's turning 17. May 22. When you walk into a room, my son will open the door for you. That is how I taught him. You respect women. You do not raise your voice to a woman. Yeah. You know, not at all. It does not make you a man. You know. So for me, because ngakula ekaya vele where, hey, I've never had my father shout at my mom. Lamalaza wakhe nje lamalaza wakhe. Bese sesitshele ukusilalela la. Inkosi kade imiphumlile nyana. Nomsindi. That's how I grew up. You know. So those are the things that have kept me going, and I always try to impart that to my son as well, to say, you know what? Be a better man. Yeah.
Do you have anything to say?
Man,
You're also in like a difficult engineering. I was like, what? A woman engineer?
It is very difficult, but same thing with me, it's my dad.
Okay.
When we were growing up, he'd say, don't try your best, do your best. And that's the attitude that I carry into everything that I do. It's almost a flaw because it pushes me to be a perfectionist. But I believe that's what has helped me to achieve what I've achieved so far in my life. And it's what's helping me to dream bigger and see much more about my life for the future. So I think it's very important to just always have that voice that's pushing you. And after he passed away, when I look back, I always think I met my mother after my dad passed away. And when I met her, I was like, man, she's a wonderful woman. She was very strong. She was a woman of faith. And there's not a single moment in time I can think about where her faith wavered. When we were faced with difficulty, like, where's the next money going to come from? It was, kids, let's sit down. We're going to read the word and we're going to pray. And the next day, we were able to pay fees. The next day, we would know that her business is doing good because we have faith in our home. And those are things that I carry with me. My faith, and just when I show up, I do my best. And that's exactly what I want to teach my children. My daughter, my son, I want to teach them that every single time you show up with your faith and you do your best.
Wow. I love that. Show up and do your best.
Yeah.
Show up and do your best. I love that. Don't try to do your best. So now, ladies, what is a mother's? I like that Nisaita Bobabe. I'm also a daddy's girl. Nisaita Babe. Nisaita Bobabe. But then, what is a mother's assignment to the world? Wow. To your own child. Because you're releasing your kids into the world, but what's your assignment? That's why I'm asking you, what's your assignment to the world as a mother? Tobeka has shared, and I can attest, your son is a gentleman, where he opens doors for me. Yes. So what is that? What is your assignment? Assignment to the world?
Well, wow, you put it like, to the world, it seems like, but it's true, you're right, because it's the children that we are raising, we have been given that, custodian to say, raise this child, but she's going to be, or he's going to be something tomorrow. We also don't even know what they'll be, but we are believing that they'll be the best that they will be, but that best will come from what you have put in. Tobeka has just mentioned, what she puts in, when it comes to her son. And as well as, she has also mentioned that with her children, she wants what she was taught. So that, when what you are giving to the world is that if it's supposed to be the best, it's going to be the best. And you're going to see it in these children that have been raised by this woman. So, whether it's success, whether it's, being the greatest in the world, whether it's being, the next president somewhere, the world is going to see that because you have, it's been sharpened right on your hand. So the role of a mother is just too great. When you think of it that way, then it's like, okay, wow. Wow. Yeah. And actually, when God gives you a child, it's not, I know we raise them as like, my child, my children, I want my children, I want this for them, I want this for them. But the one important thing that we need to remember as parents is that they are not our children, they're God's children. That's why, Tabila mentioned that she was praying that, she wants her child to be a boy. But it was a girl because God has a purpose of his own on this child. So you can't then come and say, when my child, and this is, you want to push things to be a certain way, your way. We have just been given custody. We've just been trusted, that we'll be able to make sure that this child is going to run according to what God has planned. And when they come out there, yes, you're going to be praised. You're going to be, everyone is going to wonder the mother that raised this child. But above all, you are then going to say, I thank you, God, because you trusted me. You trusted me that your purpose will come true through this child, and this child had to go through me.
So, ngalokusho lokho uthi you are saying you have been trusted. Yes. So you would say that motherhood is a job.
Motherhood,
Is it?
Motherhood is a job. It is a job. Then you go to Proverbs 22 verse 6, which says, teach your children. Ngendlela emele bahambe ngayo. Yes. Something that they will not even forget. Noma ungahambi emhlabeni. Noma mfundise kahle umntwana wakho. Noma ngabe sokuyaphuma endleleni. One way or other, those words, le mfundiso yakho, utoyikhumbula. Even in hard times, wherever. So God has given us this job. We must teach our kids the right things. As a mother, I know sometimes you go through emotional, yes, Nazi, but nje vele kufanele ukuthi umntwana wakho umkhulise ngendlela right. I liked what Tobeka said. Ukuthi ufundisa umntwana wakhe wemfana, umfundisa even to open a door for a woman. That's really an honor. It is. Because this is exactly kwalahleke emuva. Batali bethu, hey mfana, uyaphi ekitchen? Uyaphi ekitchen? Teacher tiwasho. Yes. So I think vele ngicabanga ukuthi vele we have to teach them the right things, ema morals, ema values. What ukuthi I've done my part as a parent. So ngamane onakale nje.
La niyakhona ukuthi bathi kadzeni bekuthiwa uyaphi ekitchen awuyikuphi. Yeah.
Phumela ngaphandle.
Also, it's not to say batali bethu nebatali babo bona necessarily, because we are what we are. We are products of that. Yabo. But all that it did for us was to ingrain ukuthi moving forward, se clear ukuthi lokunga sihambelanga kahle thina. And we want to make sure it is not imparted onto our children. But there's something that, a perfect example of Lolokshuang Mage Sylvia would say, my teachings, about Dalbeit, and my teachings that we impart on our children, they remain. Tobega on this table has quoted it, Dad. He has quoted it. These children, she lost her father at 15. But no, I'm kidding. No, but so many years later, it's still there, and it's a conversation that she has with herself. To chin up, go to the world, go into the world and do this. So I totally agree. We are vessels. We are brought here to produce and to nurture. And yes, and to nurture. And we don't just nurture children. We nurture. We're just nurturers. On any, give a woman longaga. We multiply. Utaba nendlela ukuthi kumanifeste kube plus. Kunesipho nje. I think that I always say there's a special place in God's heart for women. Honestly, they just have a way of just making things happen. And a lot of the times we don't really have a choice.
I like what you're saying. Yeah, you are vessels. We are vessels. You produce, you nurture. Wow, the conversation is getting deeper. Yes, it is getting deeper. We're getting to the main parts of this conversation. But before we get there, we're also going to the main cause. These lovely women need to be fed. So viewers, see you right after this break. We're still at the place of happiness. This is Happy Valley Hotel indeed. I am very happy that plates here in front of me. I'm salivating, but sadly I can't eat everything. Well, Baba Mthethwa, speak to me. This lovely meal.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. La kuqaleni kwami ngilungisela i-oxtail ihamba ne-mashed potatoes with veggies. Bese ngala it is king clip with veggies and spinach with lemon butter sauce. On the other side, ngilethele lamb roll with roast potatoes with a bit of a sauce. On the other side, it's a ram steak with roast potatoes with veggies. Lastly, with the smoked salmon with spinach and veggies and our famous Portuguese chicken.
Let's be having that now. I can tell you now, with the Happy Valley, you have to come here and we have to have this amazing meals. So ladies, dig in.
Thank you, Chef.
My name is Melogushe. My surname is Ngambule.
My name is Luanzile. My surname is Mavusa. I'm doing grade 4.
My name is Pusisi Dlamini. I am in grade 4.
My name is Fullness Dlamini. I am in grade 4B.
My name is Sadie and my surname is Ngambule and I am in grade 4C.
My name is Bonelo. My surname is Mkabel. I'm in grade 2.
My name is Brady. My surname is Horton and I'm in grade 4.
What would you like to say to your mommy on this Mother's Day?
I will say I love her and she's beautiful. I would love to tell her that I love her so much. I would never want to lose her in my whole entire life.
I would tell my mom that I think I like everything she did for me.
I would tell him that he's the best mother in the world.
I can say Happy Mother's Day, Mommy. I love you. You are the best mother ever.
I would tell her that I love her.
Why do you love your mommy?
Because she cooks good food and also sometimes she gives me money.
I like to tell her that I love her and she's the best mom in the world.
Welcome back dear viewer. We're still with Bomage lana laba sifundzisako, laba sikhamelako also, nalaba satisako ukuthi bone experience yabo yokuba ngumake ibe kanjani. Now Bomage, babo babes. Kune you know, being a woman, kune tinfo leteteka go emhlabeni letike tiku affect emotionally and mentally. Manje ngifuna kwathi lokuthi ingabe niyelente kanjani ukuthi lawo ma frustrations ungawakhokhela kumfana athi nje umfana emayencafa you know, yes.
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah. Why does that happen?
I think because we go through, for me ngivanga zuthi ngobe sesekuba mgcoka loku, you cannot give from an empty cup.
Yeah.
So it just becomes important for self-care, for taking the time for yourself, so that utokhona ukuthi bring yourself towards yourself, breathe, and then
rather maybe akusiyona inkinga yemali ude nalesikhathi sekuthi bringa together because kumele afende for labamfana
ngivanga ukuthi whichever situation lokuyi you find that moment akudzinga ukuthi it can be taking a walk, it can be yabona akudzinga ukuthi ube mhlawumbe unelikamero lakho, you know, no, just find the moment where you have clarity ukuthi ungadikhohlwa wena ngoba you end up being so much for so many people. Yes, and so kuba ne-rage yakhe kancane kancane and uyibona ngakuthi bese uyasnap. I'm telling you, even just not just your children, just around you, kanze ukuthi awusasilo mfulo easy to get along with. So I mean, I honestly feel like uba mgcoka lo.
Yeah, a trick that we have actually been surviving ngayo thina being parent of ama-toddlers kwanyalo is that we have skats nje sekuyolala bedtime for the kids. So they go and sleep at 8. There's a reason for that. Whether they're going to school or they're not going to school, at 8 bayolala. So that we can have that hour nyana, 2 hour nyana to just sit. If we want to just sit and be quiet, or we chat, or we watch whatever we want to watch, because in Nyati, for us, sibukele cartoons.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole day, sibukele cartoons. You know, to watch. So it's some of the things that Tabitha is talking about, because it doesn't have to be a lot. You don't have to go out. You don't need to go on a date. You know, you might not always have the money.
Okay,
So,
I'm sorry, because I have to cut you, because I feel that while we're living another important aspect of this, there are women that are emotionally abused, physically abused by their husbands, by their father of their children.
Yeah.
I don't want us to leave those women out, because they're also watching the show. They also want the information.
Yeah.
Utatibamba njani uthi angacansukeli lo mfana ushaywe ngubaba wakhe.
Yeah.
Kufuna amphekele, kufuna amgeze, kufuna abuye ngalana abe happy, noma kufuna abe ngimake, abe sikhukukade, akhusele konke lokukhona ngaphasi kwakhe.
Yeah. Because I think every time
Yeah.
we see mothers, but say no, umfana ngimlahle because baba wakhe wende lokho.
Yes.
You know, and I think all of us, some of us have gone through that. Ucansule ngilobaba wemphana. And umfana nangla ufuna attention yakho.
Yes.
You know, and akanaqala, but you will snap at him. You literally snap at him. I think lapho what works is the support system. It's your support system. Unaye yini wena ungithobeka make sikuvela ungamshayela. Uthi make uyati kwenteka nakho. You know, that is the most important thing, because in most cases, when I look at it, nakhona this is just being general. You know. When you talk to some of the women that have just decided, I can't stand lo mfana lo. They're surrounded by people who say you are going to be a failure if maybe you walk out of this abusive relationship or walk out of this marriage. So the support system imqoka. So and I think it then rests on us as other women would say, what do we put out there? Is that what we say, Vele, when people fail in their marriages?
Yeah.
Because if you're sitting in a marriage that's not working out, definitely you'll take it out on the kids.
Yeah.
And that you will. There's no way. You're frustrated. You're unhappy.
Yeah.
You know. So it's a very tricky one.
I'm raising it because kunema teenagers, kunema young adults, la broken like society because of that. Because Mage couldn't deal with them issues or because Babe also couldn't, because Mage couldn't maybe step in. Abeng Mage at this moment, glomfana lo tawufunza impilo la tayifunza la kuye. And now he's out there in the society, broken as ever. Ngenxa ya Mage.
Ngicabanga ukuthi this goes a very long way.
Yeah.
You know, so many women have been affected out there.
True.
And it's not nice at all. I like what Tobeka has said. You know, family is key.
Yeah.
Ekhaya kini nje, lengemuva.
Yeah.
There's somebody that you trust, that you can sit down and talk to. The support system ngiyona lehamba kakhulu than anything else. At least you have to voice out now the problem. Kusho ukuthi yathi nginenkinga, ube nemuntu ongakhuluma naye, longamethemba naye. Hayi lo status uyamtshela indzaba yakho, it's for the whole town. You understand? But I think the support system is very key. At the same time, I think I'm going back to what I said. Ngicela ukuthi bomake batimisele ukuthi ngingimake ngitakhona kuba independent. Angisho ukuthi ungabi independent, angabi kobabi. But being independent, my mother taught me ukuthi noma ngabe unemsebenzi lo usebenzako emafeti lamancane bongawathengisa utokhona kudiphilisa. Just do something that will keep you busy. Ngoba nawuhleti ucabanga tonke letinkinga leti. You'll go sane.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I think the importance of maintaining autonomy.
Yeah.
Even in a partnership, it becomes very, very important for yourself.
It's your strength.
Exactly.
It's your power.
So, and one one of the many reasons I suppose that ukhanze ukuthi sekuba nale element yokuba toxic is because kunale great dependence on the next person. So this man must feed me so that I feed. You understand?
Now, when that starts.
Yes, and then I'm struggling to get this out of this man, and so
I'm frustrated.
it's now, it becomes harder to filter it down. I'm not saying men shouldn't be that for their partners, but certainly, ufuna ukhone wena kwathi ukuthi lo mkhumbi lona na I have my life jacket, I have my because nje autonomy is very, very, very important for your sanity. Asisho ukuthulana ngoba uncikile one eye, one foot in, but nje
To have your happiness, to rely on someone to make you happy. I mean, I think I found my strength by saying, no, I'm very happy.
No, but
When I
it's
come and
true.
add on
Because
to
you
the
become
happiness I
an
have, to my happiness. You know?
Because even if you're in a partnership, like even if you're married, you can't expect him to be making you happy because now you're supposed to be bringing in. But Manjanaye, he must be making you happy and he must be happy himself.
And I think it's
Ngisami slogan sicela Sylvia kulandzele Sylvia ugcine Sylvia. It is very important because we do a lot as women. As I mentioned earlier, we are administrators. Emakhaya sibona konke sibomake. So there must be time where you give yourself time and say, Lord, you know, I really need time for myself. Nami nje sengitinake mina. Lingimi, you know. Ngoba ugcina sole frustration la kule family. So ufuna destroy your own family because of the stress that you are carrying at all times. So sometimes just tell yourself, you know what? It's Sylvia today. It's just Sylvia's day. Sylvia, landzela Sylvia, tagcina Sylvia. Khohlwa ngalabanye abantu, so tinake wena.
yeah, I totally Yeah, I totally agree with that because, I mean, just the past few weeks, I've been very stressed at work, and I've been carrying that stress into the home. And my husband got to a point where he said, okay, you know what, let's chill. I'll handle cleanup before bedtime because it's getting a bit intense. Yeah. And that's when I recognized that it is very important to take time out for yourself. And I haven't been doing that for the past few months. And now it's like, I need my children to see that, no, mommy does her own things sometimes that don't involve us, that don't involve daddy. And it's okay. It's okay. And we have to allow her to do it. Exactly. So it's important for us as women not to lose ourselves in our roles. You shouldn't become your role. You're still fully you, 100% you, and you still need to embrace that.
You said you shouldn't become your role.
Yeah.
Pearls of wisdom.
Yes.
You'll be amazed at how understanding those children are. Umfana uve ngale komnyango uve no mommy don't go to mommy's room now. I'm not saying we should burden them with all, but they are, and there's 3 toys when to talk to money. They know how to manipulate and who to manipulate. They know who's mom, who's dad, and what to get out from mom, what to get off there. So they're way smarter than. So now what they do, I think we overthink for them. And gani bayakhona lokuthi babe support as well to us.
Now you spoke about Tabile, you spoke about being bus streetwise, and briefly and in a second I want us to touch on motherhood, social media, parenthood and social media. Nowadays the influence there, you mothers are also on social media, your children are on social media. Yeah.
Can I
Where do we strike the balance here?
So here's the thing. If there's one thing that COVID-19 did for all of us, because it caught us all off guard. So all the values that you thought you had and all you instilled You had to like recheck. Some it took longer than others. But go to any household now. Honestly, you will find a smartphone. Yabona. Children have had to, but what is okay, get the phone, but no internet. No, now it's internet. WhatsApp, they've had to be there. Some of the material is on Facebook. Some of the, you know what I mean? So I think it has jerked us all into saying, yeah. Fourth industrial revolution is already is here.
Honestly, as a mother to a teenager, I have always been free with that. You know, mina ngiyati vele ukuthi ngiyablokwa ku status, ngivula on the birthday and Mother's Day so I can see statuses, then I get blocked again. But funny enough, I get blocked and the grandmother never gets blocked, so I always get to see what's there. You know, so he's on his Instagram. He feels like he's an influencer. I've always been the mom that supports. He's okay, I'll support you as long as education first. Yeah. You know, education first. So for me, social media, nah. I really have always been comfortable with it. I'll be very honest with you. Because one thing about Labanfana Lab, they will get into the site if they want to. They will. You know, so try to have the relationship where it's open and they can be able to come and ask you questions. Otherwise, not that I always say, I love my parents. Mom, I love you so much. Best mom ever. But the one different thing that I told myself I would do is we are set on a question. You know, no. Respect me, don't fear me. Yes. So I need to know what's okay. Now he wants to talk about something more deeper. Or how do I, especially as a boy, I don't know, boy's growth, I don't know boy's growth. But you know, sometimes with my questions that I can answer, sexual questions, I have to answer them because social media is painful like that.
Family time.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh definitely.
We need family time.
Never replace it.
Yes, we do. Yes, social media vele sehamba embili ukuthi lesingakwenza. But nje isiyasidingela isikhathi family. Ngoba that's where we get to teach them values. We teach them love, to love one another, to understand each other. That's why you understand your kids because they've got different characters. Yes. As a mother, that's the right time to understand them. Oh, okay, lo. So we need that kind of time. Social media is good, but it's a single cat. It's a family. Yes.
I wish we could go on and on and on and on for so many hours, but yes, time is running out. One last thing. I would be remiss if I did not touch this part. It is known in the society that women bring other women down. You're raising girls. You need to raise girls that will uplift other women. Why do women bring other, just in a second, why do women bring other women down, and how do we curb this from happening from basasebangane, we are equals, siyafanana. Ayikuthi so we've so no, meaning natural, and I'm okay. Yeah.
It's all about jealousy.
It's jealousy.
I think also competition.
Competition.
We somehow we you know,
are we born competing?
Okay, there. Like for instance, you asked me about raising girls.
Yeah.
I think there is some kind of effect when what you do as parents. I have two girls. Now we have to try and balance up things. Yeah. You can't be doing something for the other one and then the other one seems like she feels like left out or something. Yeah. So there needs to be that. And at the same time, I think the most important thing that as parents we need to you know take note of is giving time to each child. Each child is an individual. So udzinga ukuthi umsonzete as an individual. There may be siblings, but udzinga kumati lo ayedwana. So even that strengthens the child. I realize that no. As I am, I'm loved just like this. Okay. I don't have to be looking at my sister, would say how come, you know, all of that, yeah. So, especially Masabakula Ganjalo, their sisters now, seeing other women, she won't have any problem seeing them banjanjani because she's comfortable in her own skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. Like I said, Ash, if we had the liberty of time, because yeah, we would go on and on, but meetings are well, we've learned a lot. Thank you so very much, you dynamic women, for joining us on this show. We are celebrating you. Happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day. Batakvula ku-status, utawubona. It's Happy Mother's Day. Batakvula, but Happy Mother's Day to you. No, kuhle and immersive. The information being shared by the mothers that I'm sitting with today. I learned that being a woman is a superpower on its own, because you're a vessel that brings life, and then you have to nurture that life. You are born with that thing. And then Tenele shared something and said, do not become your role as a mother. You are an individual. Wow, so many lessons I learned. Catch some of them on my Facebook page. Get some of them on my Facebook page. I'd like to send a huge shout out, a big thank you to all our sponsors. Happy Valley Hotel, thank you ever so much for always having us, always feeding us. The Florist Shop as well. Thank you so much for the flowers, for the beautiful women that we have. And of course, Standard Bank, Eswatini. It can't be this beautiful with these gifts that you have given us. Thank you ever so much. We truly appreciate the support. Well, Eswatini, thank you for tuning in. I hope kukhona leni kufunzile from the speeches that we had today, from the discussions rather, that we had today with these women. And I'd like to wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day. We love you. Continue shining, continue nurturing and making the world a better place. Good night.
This show was proudly sponsored by Standard Bank.